Hey everyone, welcome back to Learn English Easily, the place where learning English is not about memorizing rules or worrying about grammar, but about actually using the language in real-life situations that matter to you, whether it's expressing your thoughts, building confidence, or improving your relationships. This is Emma here, and today's episode is going to be something very relatable, especially for those who want to improve their English, not just for professional life, but also for their personal life. Today, we are going to talk about how to talk in English with your girlfriend, and I want you to stay with us till the end, because this is not just about speaking English. This is about expressing emotions, building connection, and communicating in a way that feels natural, genuine, and meaningful instead of sounding forced or awkward.
Yes, Emma, and I think this is something many people struggle with but don't talk about openly, because when it comes to speaking English with someone you care about, the pressure becomes different. It's not just about speaking correctly, it's about saying the right things, expressing your feelings clearly, and making the other person feel understood and valued. And because of that pressure, many people either overthink too much or they keep things very basic and don't express themselves fully. And that's exactly what we are going to solve today, because the goal is not to impress your girlfriend with big English words. The goal is to communicate your thoughts, your emotions, and your personality in a way that feels real and comfortable.
And if you have ever felt that you wanted to say something sweet, something meaningful, or even something simple, but you didn't know how to say it in English, or you felt that your sentences sounded dry or robotic, then this episode is especially for you, because we are going to break it down step by step in a way that you can actually use in your daily conversations.
And by the end of this episode, you will not only learn what to say, but you will also understand how to think while speaking, how to respond naturally, and how to create conversations that feel smooth, engaging, and emotionally connected.
So let's start with something very important, James, because before we talk about how to speak, we need to understand why people struggle to talk in English with their girlfriend in the first place.
Yes, Emma, and the real problem here is not English. It is hesitation combined with emotional pressure. Because when you're talking to someone you care about, you don't want to say something wrong, you don't want to sound boring, and you don't want to create misunderstandings. So instead of speaking naturally, you start overthinking every word.
Exactly. And what happens is you either become too quiet or you speak in a very basic and limited way, which doesn't truly represent your personality or your feelings, and that creates a gap in communication.
Now, let's talk about something very practical, which is how to start a conversation with your girlfriend in English on a daily basis, because many people don't know how to begin naturally.
Yes, and instead of starting with something boring like, "What are you doing?" you can make it more natural and warm by saying something like, "Hey, how has your day been so far? I was just thinking about you and wanted to check how everything is going on your side."
And what makes this better is that it shows care and interest at the same time, and it opens the door for a real conversation instead of just a routine exchange.
Now let's talk about expressing feelings, because this is where English becomes more than just a language. It becomes a tool to connect emotionally.
Yes, and many people struggle here because they either use very simple sentences or they try to copy lines from movies, which often don't feel natural.
Instead, keep it simple but meaningful. For example, you can say, "I really enjoy talking to you. It makes my day feel lighter and more positive." And this sounds natural, honest, and personal.
And another example could be, I feel comfortable when I talk to you, like I can be myself without thinking too much. And this kind of sentence builds emotional connection.
Now let's talk about how to keep the conversation interesting, because many people run out of topics or repeat the same questions every day.
Yes, and the key here is curiosity. Instead of asking routine questions, ask thoughtful and open-ended questions that show interest in her thoughts and feelings. For example, you can say, "What was the most interesting part of your day today? Something that made you smile or think differently." And this creates a deeper conversation.
And when she answers, don't just reply with "nice." Instead, respond and add something from your side so that the conversation keeps flowing naturally.
Let's talk about something real, arguments. because misunderstandings happen in every relationship, and knowing how to handle them in English is very important.
Yes, and the biggest mistake people make is reacting emotionally without expressing clearly, which creates more confusion.
Instead, you can say something like, I think we might be misunderstanding each other. Can we talk about this calmly so we can understand each other better? And this keeps the situation respectful.
Let's create a real-life conversation example so people can understand how everything connects naturally.
Yes, let's make it feel real.
Hey, I was just thinking about you and wondering how your day went, because sometimes even small conversations with you make my day feel a lot better and more relaxed.
My day was actually a bit busy, but talking to you now is helping me feel better. I think I needed this kind of moment to slow down and just talk normally.
I feel the same way sometimes too, like no matter how busy the day is, having someone to talk to who understands you makes everything feel lighter.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes conversations meaningful, not just talking, but actually feeling heard and understood.
So the truth is simple. You don't need perfect English to talk to your girlfriend. You just need honesty, clarity, and the willingness to express yourself.
And when your intention is real, your words don't have to be perfect. They just have to be meaningful.
And if you really want to improve your English speaking, not just for relationships, but for real-life situations, then make sure you subscribe to Learn English Easily, because we're here to help you speak confidently, naturally, and without fear.
Yes, and in the next episode, we're going to talk about how to flirt in English in a natural way without sounding awkward or trying too hard.
So don't miss it. Subscribe now, stay consistent, and start practicing today.
Because the more you speak,
The more natural it becomes.
the more connected you feel.
This is Emma
And this is James.
from Learn English Easily.
We'll see you in the next episode.